Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. The intense distortion of space sealed this entire area. Any spatial fluctuation was unable to seep out of it. Xiao Yan's expression was dark and cold as he turned his head. He looked in the direction of the origin of this spatial fluctuation, and saw an enormous heaven phoenix illusory figure roaming the sky behind Jufeng. The entire sky was enshrouded by this illusory heaven phoenix. The spatial ripple from before had come from its body. Looks like the next tribe head of the heaven demon phoenix tribe is going to be someone else. Jufeng's heart trembled when he saw Xiao Yan's dark and dense gaze sweep over. Jufeng immediately cried out in a deep voice, "Hanyu, why aren't you acting?" A cold smile surfaced on Hanyu's face when he heard Jufeng's cry. He clenched his hand and a scroll appeared in his palm. Subsequently, he shattered it. An intense spatial fluctuation swept out of the scroll after it was shattered. This spatial force was transferred to Jufeng's body. Agglomerate. Jufeng's hand suddenly slid across the empty space in front of him after he took on this intense spatial force. A spatial tear spread before it formed a black hole in that space. A monstrous aura swept apart like a storm from that spot. Everyone present revealed a sudden change in their expression upon sensing the monstrous aura that spread apart. They exclaimed, "An elite band Sheng." Xiao Yang's expression was solemn. These damn people had yet to give up. They were planning on summoning the experts from their clan over. We must not allow them to succeed. A cold glint flickered within Xiao Yang's eyes. He waved his hand and a flame surged out of his sleeve. It turned into a ferocious fire beast that rushed toward the spatial crack with lightning-like speed. The fire beast appeared in front of the spatial tear while emitting a high temperature, but before it could explode, a dense white bone-like hand was suddenly extended from the spatial crack. It grabbed the flame and a black fog surged. The flame was eroded into nothing. Cough cough. Hanyu, it is unexpected that even you cannot finish off the brat from the Xiao clan. A coughing elderly voice was slowly emitted from the spatial crack, after the white shriveled hand had extended out. After which, a greyish-white clothed old man slowly stepped out of the crack, and appeared in front of everyone's eyes. This elder's figure was extremely crooked. His hand held a skeleton walking stick. Both of his eyes were deep as a serene green glow were emitted from the both of them. He gave one an extremely sinister and strange feeling. An accident occurred. Otherwise, I would not have used this spatial scroll. Hanyu frowned after hearing the old man's words. After which, he looked at Xiao Yang and said, "He trained for a month beneath the Bodhisattva ancient tree, and his strength has soared to the 9th stage of the Peak Do Zun class. Moreover, he still has some Bodhisattva seeds in his hand. Elder Gu, you must intervene in order to retain him." That old man, called Elder Gu, was slightly startled upon hearing this. His eyes, which contained a green glow, landed on Xiao Yang. A strange smile surfaced on his shriveled face. It is unexpected that this brat has come across such luck. Xiao Yang frowned when faced with Gu's observing eyes. He slowly exhaled. It seemed that he was finally going to fight a genuine Bansheng today. These bastards have summoned an expert from their clan. Gu furiously cried when he saw who had arrived. Gu Qingyang's expression was also relatively gloomy. He clenched his hand and a scroll appeared in it. Finally, he shattered it, but he was stunned to find that no spatial fluctuations had appeared despite having shattered the spatial scroll. It's pointless. The space here has already been sealed by the Heaven Phoenix illusory figure summoned by Jufeng. Without his permission, spatial fluctuations cannot be transmitted out. Zona slowly shook her head and softly remarked. There is also some members of the younger generation from the Gu clan. Gu's eyes slid away from Xiao Yang. He looked at Zona's group and laughed. Elder Gu, don't waste time with them. The situation might change if things are delayed. We should first capture Xiao Yang. Hanyu spoke in a deep voice. It is not easy for these old bones of mine to come out here. You should stop pressing me. Jiu involuntarily shook his head when he heard Han Yu's urging. Although he spoke like this, he lifted the walking stick in his hand and slowly stepped through the air. A couple of afterimages materialized as he appeared a short distance from Xiao Yan. That skeleton-like face revealed an extremely ferocious smile as he said, "It is unexpected that the Xiao clan can produce someone like you after having exhausted its bloodline." How unexpected. Quite a number of experts from our Han clan have died in your hands. Your name is quite well known around our Han clan. Xiao Yang was without expression. He could sense an enormous pressure emanating from Jiu. Xiao Yang might be at the 9th change at the peak of the Dozun class, but he was not a true Banshing. He was lacking when compared to this Banshing Jiu. The old me is known as Jiu. Of course, you can also address me as Second Tianzuan. Perhaps you might be a little more familiar with the title that I have held for some time, though, since I have advanced to the Banshing class, I prefer others call me Saint Jiu. Jiu spoke in a hoarse voice. Second Tianzuan. Xiao Yang's eyelids twitched. This old fellow was actually the second Tianzuan of the Hall of Souls. It was really the case of those at the front being the strongest when it came to these so-called Tianzuans. He wondered just how strong the first Tianzuan was. Perhaps he was a true elite Banshing. If this was the case, calling him first Tianxing would perhaps be more appropriate. Xiao Yang's heart involuntarily sank when he thought about the first Tianzuan. The strength of this Han clan was indeed extremely great and unfathomable. If one did not possess the strength of a Doxing, it would be difficult to protect oneself while fighting with them. Once this matter is over, I will immediately refine the Bodhisattva heart. Only by advancing to the Banshing class will I not need to be afraid of the Hall of Souls. Xiao Yang clenched his fist. Ever since he had been a doja back then, he had been utilizing the laziness of the Hall of Souls in order to raise his strength. Only after he had raised his strength would he be able to survive clashing against the stronger experts the Hall of Souls dispatched. It was now time for him to take the initiative. All right, the introduction is over. It has been a long time since I have spoken so much. Young fellow from the Xiao clan, are you going to return with me to the Han clan, or shall we fight? Jiu softly coughed and asked a question as his green eyes bore down on Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang's expression was icy cold. His body shook and a pair of green-red bone wings spread behind him. The eyes of the members from the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe twitched when they saw these bone wings appear. They could sense a familiar feeling from them. Zun, can you block him for a while? Xiao Yang turned his head and asked Zun a question in a deep voice. I? Zun slowly nodded. Her lovely body moved as she appeared in front of Xiao Yang. A colorful clan tattoo quickly appeared on her smooth forehead. At the same time, Zun's aura abruptly surged as a golden flame filled both of her eyes. Be careful. Xiao Yang softly cried out. After which, his body pulled back. He waved his hand and 5 clusters of flames appeared in front of him. It seemed that Xiao Yang understood that he needed to unleash his strongest attack if he wished to truly defeat this Jiu. Are you going to merge heavenly flames again? Jiu's shriveled face unnoticeably twitched when he saw Xiao Yang pull back. He had heard about Xiao Yang's ability to merge heavenly flames from some members of the Han clan. It was precisely because of this merger that those experts from the Han clan had ended up returning in failure. This elderless elf is really curious to learn whether or not the strength of this heavenly flame merger of yours is really as frightening as the rumors say. This Jiu was a skilled and bold person. His Banshing class strength gave him enough capital to look down on everyone present. Even a Tian class Do's skill would have difficulty turning the tide because of this indescribable gap. However, Jiu would never have expected those Han clan experts, who had fought Xiao Yang back, then had also adopted such a mentality. Jiu clan's Zun, the owner of a divine bloodline, and is rumored to be the person with the most perfect bloodline in the Jiu clan. Jiu's eyes looked at Zun a short distance away. A shriveled smile appeared on his face as he said, "Your potential is quite good, but you are currently no match for me." Jiu-Yu's last sentence had just sounded when his body strangely disappeared. Sun Er's expression changed upon seeing him move. Her lovely body suddenly pulled back as her palm, which was surrounded by a golden flame, ruthlessly slammed toward a spot in the air. Her palm was accompanied by a frightening temperature. The space distorted when her palm shot out and a crooked elderly figure appeared. This figure belonged to Saint Jiu-Yu. Your senses are quite good. No wonder you are the clan member with the greatest potential in the Jiu clan. Saint Jiu laughed strangely after being forced to appear by Sun Er. His hand was like a poisonous snake as it strangely rotated. After which, it collided with Sun Er's palm like lightning. Bang! A frightening wind, which was accompanied by some heat, swept over the sky. Saint Jiu-Yu's body did not move, but Sun Er emitted a muffled groan. Her feet staggered back. Sun Er quickly stabilized her body after taking a final step. Her hands were placed together. They appeared like a blooming lotus, as they formed many complicated seals. A bright golden flame erupted from Sun Er's body in all directions as these seals changed. The entire sky seemed to have suddenly been ignited as this golden flame appeared. Looking at the bright flame that had suddenly erupted from Sun Er, a surprised expression also flashed across Jiu-Yu's face. His voice reverberated over the sky. Gold Emperor incinerating heavenly flame, the Jiu clan's inherited flame, that is ranked 4th on the heavenly flame ranking. It is unexpected that a little girl like you was able to subdue it. A golden flame lingered above the ground. It appeared to have ignited the sky at this moment. The Gold Emperor incinerating heavenly flame was ranked 4th on the heavenly flame ranking. It was only inferior to the purifying demonic lotus flame. Although this heavenly flame was not as mysterious as the purifying demon lotus flame, it was renowned during the ancient times. Moreover, this kind of heavenly flame was an inheritance of the Jiu clan, but seldom anyone could subdue it. Hence, Saint Jiu-Yu's heart was a little shaken when he recognized this flame. It is indeed the Gold Emperor incinerating heavenly flame. Xiao Yan sensed an intense fire fluctuation from the distant sky. His heart shook. He had already guessed this a long time ago, but Sun Er seldomly unleashed the Gold Emperor incinerating heavenly flame. Hence, he had never confirmed his guess. It is indeed worthy of the Jiu clan to be in possession of a mysterious inheritance like this heavenly flame. Xiao Yang sighed in envy within his heart. The Gold Emperor incinerating heavenly flame was ranked high on the heavenly flame ranking. This naturally proved its great strength. If one were to talk about its ferocity, even Xiao Yang's newly born heavenly flame, made from the merger of 4 heavenly flames, might not be better than this Gold Emperor incinerating heavenly flame. After all, the heavenly flames that were ranked near the top of the heavenly flame ranking were unbelievably terrifying. An example was the top 3 heavenly flames. Saying that they possessed the strength to destroy the world was not an exaggeration. A great disaster had befallen the world in ancient times any time a top heavenly flame erupted. Xiao Yang swiftly focused his mind as this thought lingered within his heart. 4 clusters of heavenly flames swiftly merged together, A, B, C, as waves of violent destructive fluctuations quietly spread. It is rumored that the Gold Emperor incinerating heavenly flame can burn Do Qi. Its ferocity is well known. Today, this elderless elf shall take a look to see if it is as the rumors describe. Jiu stepped through the air. His green eyes stared at Sun Er, who was some distance away, as he spoke in a hoarse voice. Black fog suddenly surged from the skeleton walking stick in his hand after his final word sounded. In the blink of an eye, this black fog permeated the sky. An extremely dark and cold energy hid in this black fog. Hence, it did not scatter despite the high temperature in the sky. Instead, the fog quickly agglomerated into an enormous black skeleton under Jiu-Yu's control. This black skeleton was 10,000 feet tall. It stood in the sky like a divine skeleton of evil. A dense black fog churned out of its body as a chilly pressure swept out. It caused most of the people present to feel as though their very soul was in a chilly pond. The atmosphere was exceptionally gloomy and cold. Darkness Skeleton King, he has summoned this thing the moment he started fighting. It seems that Elder Gu is quite afraid of the so-called Gold Emperor incinerating heavenly flame. Han Yu pondered some thoughts as he observed the enormous black skeleton in the sky. This black skeleton was a rare Tian class low-grade Do skill. One would be able to use one's Do Qi and the surrounding energy to form a skeleton king after mastering it. This skeleton king was as hard as metal and was immune to fire and water. Moreover, each and every part of its body contained an extremely dark and cold energy. If an ordinary expert were to be struck by this darkness, that expert's body might look fine, but their soul would be eroded. Hence, this thing could be considered quite sinister and vicious. With Jiyu's current banshing strength, the black skeleton that he had summoned after unleashing this Do skill with all his strength was frighteningly powerful. Even some experts, who had reached the banshing class, had to be cautious when facing this big thing. Thus, one could tell how troublesome the black skeleton king was. Go! Jiyu pointed the skeleton walking stick at Sun from afar after summoning the enormous black skeleton. 2 clusters of green light immediately appeared. He took a step across the sky and appeared a short distance in front of Sun. The skeleton's palm, which was covered with a dark black fog, easily tore through space and ruthlessly slammed toward Sun's head. Sun did not dare to slight the skeleton's ferocious and shockingly powerful attack. Her lovely figure swiftly pulled back. At the same time, 100-foot-large golden flame cluster suddenly surged out of her body. It ruthlessly collided with the black skeleton's hand. Sizzle sizzle. A sharp sizzling sound erupted when the two collided. An extreme cold and an extreme heat intertwined with each other. A nauseating white fog rose and spread. Bang! Jiyu's shriveled hand was clenched as he stood far away. That enormous skeleton's hand was also clenched. One could hear a crack sound as the golden flame was shattered. Sun bunched her eyebrows together after her retaliation attack was easily destroyed. An elite Ban Xing was indeed very powerful. Even though she possessed the aid of the Gold Emperor incinerating heavenly flame, she was only able to protect herself. Fortunately, Sun's task was not to defeat Jiyu. Instead, her aim was to delay him. Gold Emperor incinerating heavenly formation. Sun's delicate body swiftly pulled back. Her hand formed many mysterious seals. After her cool cry sounded, the golden flame that lingered in the sky suddenly began to wiggle. 12+ golden fire pillars shot down from the sky. The fire pillars spread and merged with each other. It appeared like fishing net made of fire that connected the sky and the land, trapping the enormous black skeleton in the process. Bang! The black skeleton's fist, which contained a dark and chilly fog, ruthlessly slammed into the fire curtain. An earth-shaking sound appeared as many ripples formed on the fire curtain. Refine. Sun's face was grave. The seal formed by her hand changed as countless golden fire pillars shot out of the formation. They struck the surrounding fire curtain before being reflected. Finally, all of them shot into the enormous skeleton close together. These fire pillars had become even more glaring after being reflected by the fire curtain. The frightening temperature within them caused the air inside of the great formation to ignite. A glaring golden flame fiercely and wildly burned the enormous black skeleton. What a frightening flame! The expressions of most people present changed as they looked at the golden flame that seemed to have spread across every corner of the great formation. Even with the isolation of the large formation, they were still able to sense just how terrifying the temperature was within it. Even an expert at the 9th change peak of the Do Zun class would not be able to endure for more than a minute inside. After all, the Gold Emperor incinerating heavenly flame was a frightening heavenly flame said to be able to burn even Do Qi. Roar! The black fog around the enormous black skeleton quickly disappeared because of these wildly incinerating golden flames. Some of the bones had even become blurry at this moment. Regardless of how strong Jiyu was, it was impossible for him to completely ignore the frightening Gold Emperor incinerating heavenly flame. It is indeed worthy of being the Gold Emperor incinerating heavenly flame. Jiyu knit his brows when he saw the black skeleton struggling within the fire formation. If Sun did not possess the Gold Emperor incinerating heavenly flame, she would not have been able to force the darkness skeleton into such a state regardless of the dou qi she used. Unfortunately, although the heavenly flame is powerful, you are unable to unleash its full potential with your strength. It was rumored that the first owner of this legendary gold emperor, incinerating heavenly flame, could burn the realm created by an elite dou xing into nothing with this flame. Ji Yu's eyes flickered, as his shriveled hands formed a strange seal. At the same time, a strange sound was emitted from his mouth. Roar! The large black skeleton in the sea of golden flames suddenly shook, after Ji Yu's cry sounded. Wave after wave of black fog surged out of its body in all directions. Miserable screeches echoed across the sky. If one were to look carefully, one would discover that the black fog was being formed by an unimaginable number of souls. Bang bang bang. Countless numbers of souls gushed out. They suddenly exploded upon contact with the golden flame. The force from the self-detonation of such a large number of souls caused even the golden sea of fire to blast apart. The moment this occurred, the body of the black skeleton suddenly shrank. In the blink of an eye, it had transformed from 10,000 feet tall to 100 feet tall. Although its body had shrunk, the skeleton had grown even darker. A frighteningly dark and chilly energy slowly spread from the skeleton's body. Just watch as I tear apart this fire formation of yours. The skeleton slowly lifted its head. Its jaw moved as it emitted a strange laugh. That laugh was the voice of Ji Yu. This old man had managed to merge his soul with the skeleton. Xuna's expression was slightly altered after she heard these words. Her pretty eyes slid to where Ji Yu was located earlier. An elderly figure was standing at that spot, but both of the elderly figure's eyes appeared vacant. Clearly, the figure was only an empty shell. The words of the black skeleton had just sounded when it flashed and appeared at the edge of the fire formation. Its palm, which contained a rich black light, gently cut across the fire curtain. A crack line slowly appeared. The relaxed cut clearly indicated that the black skeleton did not meet even the slightest obstruction. Boom! The fire formation seemed to have been destroyed after this tear appeared. It let out a boom and exploded in front of many pairs of eyes. Little girl, if you had advanced to the Bansheng class, it would be difficult to determine just who would win today. Unfortunately, the black skeleton's green eyes stared at Xuna while a hoarse voice was slowly emitted. The corner of Xuna's mouth was lifted despite hearing this. She softly said, "My intentions were not to defeat you. I have already completed my task." Xuna's delicate figure quickly withdrew after she spoke. She appeared behind Xiao Yan in a flash. At this moment, there was an exquisite artistic-looking fire lotus slowly rotating in his palm. An annihilation aura slowly spread, causing the surrounding space to distort. A hoarse voice was slowly emitted from the black skeleton, as it looked at the fire lotus in Xiao Yan's hand. "Is this the thing that you create, after merging heavenly flames? I have given you so much time. Hopefully, you will not disappoint me." It was 5 clusters last chapter. B. Green core flame. Fallen heart flame. Bone-chilling flame. 10,000 burning flame. Not sure if the 5th was some other flame he added in before. I think at this point it was the fake heavenly flame that he was using to make the lotus a little stronger. Relax, I will not disappoint you. A cold smile was lifted on Xiao Yang's face after he heard Ji Yu's hoarse voice. He slowly lifted his hand. The exquisite 5-colored fire lotus began to slowly rotate faster. "Xuna, stand back." Xiao Yang turned his head and ordered Xuna to move back. The destructive force from the extermination fire lotus was really too frightening. Even he would not be able to endure it if he stood too close. Understood. Xiao Yang Gege, be careful. Xuna nodded. She was naturally able to sense just how frightening the fire lotus in Xiao Yang's hand was. However, she was not overly worried as her body moved and swiftly retreated. "We should also pull further back." Ji Qingyang waved his hand after seeing Xuna hurry over. His expression was grave as he led everyone to withdraw an even greater distance. "Xiao Yang, this is perhaps the first time that you have fought an elite Bansheng, right? In that case, allow the old me to tell you just how enormous and irrevocable the difference between a Dozun and a Dosheng is. The eyes of the black skeleton flickered as a chilly voice was slowly emitted. Xiao Yan faintly smiled. He flicked his finger and the extermination lotus flame in his hand suddenly began to rotate at even faster. A moment later, it suddenly turned into a glowing ball that shot away from his palm. No sound was emitted as it flew, but everywhere it passed quietly collapsed. A huge black spatial crack continuously appeared behind the flame. The extermination lotus flame did not display an overly soul-stirring momentum, but in the eyes of a genuine expert, that beautiful fire lotus was like the stickle of a death god, causing one to feel an extremely rich aura of death. 2 clusters of serene green light were present deep within the skeleton's eyes. Those eyes stared at the fire lotus, as it literally tore through space and headed his way. A black vapor was slowly spat out of his body. 10,000 soul bone armor. After the hoarse elderly voice was transmitted from the black skeleton's mouth, waves after waves of dense black fog suddenly began to erupt from his body in all directions. Sharp miserable screeches reverberated across the sky. The black fog was clearly being formed by many spiritual bodies. All of these souls began to adhere to the skeleton's body the moment they appeared. Black light surged and a bone armor with a black luster finally appeared around the skeleton's body. There were tons of tiny bone fragments on the bone armor. These bone fragments possessed many ferocious faces. Looking from afar, these ferocious faces had gathered into a 100-foot-large face. The face was filled with pain, causing the hairs on one's body to stand on end after looking at it. Xiao Yang, this elderly self shall see whether that fire lotus of yours, which is claimed to be incomparably powerful by those useless fellows, is able to break this 10,000 soul bone armor of mine. The black skeleton suddenly lifted its head after the bone armor formed. It looked at the fire lotus as it tore through the air. An elderly voice soon made a claim that echoed over the sky. Saint Jiu Yu's hoarse voice had just sounded when the fire lotus suddenly arrived. It heavily collided with the enormous bone armor in front of many pairs of eyes. Bang! The grassland was quiet the instant the collision occurred. It was as though even the wind had disappeared. However, this silence only lasted a moment before a soul-stirring explosion occurred that caused the land and sky to shake. A 10,000-foot-large firestorm suddenly spread from the point of collision. A large part of space collapsed into many dark holes as a frightening gale came pouring down. Sand rose and rocks flew, and everyone could see the ground within a 10,000-foot radius peeled off at a speed visible to the naked eye. Large cracks continued to spread from deep underground, appearing as though an earthquake had occurred. A paleness surfaced on the faces of everyone present as they watched the extermination storm sweep across the sky. Ju Feng, Han Yu, and the rest of their groups displayed unusually ugly expressions. None of them could imagine that Xiao Yang was able to unleash such a frightening attack with his 9-change peak Dozun strength. A fire lotus explosion at this level was something that even an ordinary Qian-class middle-level Do skill could not achieve. A destructive firestorm radiated across the sky. That enormous heaven phoenix illusory figure floating in the sky was also struck by this force. Its huge body trembled before it emitted a bang, and exploded into nothing in front of Ju Feng's shocked eyes. Ju Feng spat out a mouthful of fresh blood, after the heaven phoenix illusory figure was shattered. His expression was pale. Clearly, he had suffered a terrible backlash. Bang! The firestorm in the sky, which was filled with a destructive ripple, began to sweep wildly around. Any living creature that was within the area it spread to suffered a decisive blow. Those surrounding experts were so shocked that they hurriedly fled into the distance. None of them dared to approach an area where the flames could reach. Xiao Yang stood in the distant sky and watched the extremely beautiful firestorm, but his expression did not relax. This was the first time he had fought against an elite Dosheng. Although the extermination fire lotus was extremely powerful, he also understood just how terrifying a Bansheng was. These old demon-like existences were quite powerful even within the Han clan and other ancient clans. If one claimed they could be defeated this easily, one would have underestimated this so-called Shin-class experts. The firestorm that swept across the sky finally weakened under everyone's roaming eyes. After this storm weakened, space itself, where many holes had formed, slowly began to recover. Xiao Yan's eyes stared intently at the middle of the firestorm. As the firestorm weakened, a 100-foot-tall black skeleton once again appeared in front of everyone's line of sight. It has managed to endure the attack. A wild joy erupted within the eyes of the experts from the Hun clan, after seeing the black skeleton still standing in the sky. On the other hand, those from the other parties felt their hearts sink. Even such a powerful attack was unable to do any damage. Was an elite Ban Xing really so powerful? Xiao Yang's expression tensed Ul. His eyes did not blink as they stared at the huge black skeleton. He did not believe that the extermination fire lotus was unable to damage Gu. Crack! The surface of the black skeleton in the sky suddenly emitted a slight cracking sound in front of Xiao Yang's intense gaze. A broken piece of bone armor suddenly fell as some stunned eyes watched. Crack crack. Part 1 end here.